So I've had a little bit of frustrations with refilling my gas cylinders, for instance my oxygen cylinders. So I have the medical oxygen cylinder, but then I also have the smaller 20 cubic foot cylinder. Now this is not the one that I owned before, because in Litchfield, which is about 12 miles from here, there actually is a store that swaps these out. Unfortunately they don't refill, they just swap them out. But I got a nice one, so that's not bad, because I mean I bought the original tank for $5 at a flea market. So like if they had to do a test, they probably would have had to do a hydrostatic test, and it probably would have failed, and I probably would have had to buy a new one anyway. So at least I got this. It was $18 for a new tank filled with 20 cubic feet of oxygen, which I estimate to be enough oxygen to oxidize properly 400 milliliters of kerosene, which is about that much. I don't know, something like that. And so I think this will be enough to test the fuel mixtures and test the nozzles and whatnot for my liquid fueled rocket engine test. Weird. Something stuck to the bottom of this. Might clean that off. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some tests with that, and I'm just going to be doing some experiments with fuel mixtures. But that's not going to give very much burn time, because that's a very small container. So I happen to have a 250, it might be a 250 cubic feet oxygen cylinder. It's one of the big ones for an oxyacetylene torch, you know, the ones for welding and cutting metal and big pipelines and whatnot. Well, I was looking at it, and the sticker says that it's a leased tank. I didn't lease it. I didn't buy it either. I got it for free. But evidently there's this whole thing. I didn't even know that a lot of oxyacetylene tanks are leased. And like if you keep it for long, it's technically stealing. And so I have technically a stolen tank, but the company that leased it doesn't exist anymore. So maybe it was bought surplus. Either way, I can't get it refilled because that company doesn't exist, and any other company won't touch it. But I realized there's no actual marking on it. It's just the sticker. And there's like 6 stickers on it. They've been painted over so many times. So I was thinking, if they can put a sticker on it that many times, why don't I just go ahead and repaint it and put a new sticker on it? Because there's nothing on the actual tank itself saying where it, like, what it's to. There's no actual like brand marking, like, oh, it's Praxair or whatever. But I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I can do that. If not, what I'll do is I will clean it up, because it is a little bit rusty. Like some of the paint's kind of just chipping off and whatnot, and it gets your hands dirty when you handle it. And so at the very least, I will repaint it so I can have, like, I'll see about cleaning off some of the rust, and then I will repaint it so it's easier to see the color. Because right now it's almost like a darker color, because the rust spots are messing with the paint. And it looks like they use like weird gray paint over green paint, and it's so strange. And so yeah, just at least for, like, if I'm going to be filling it with my own gas, then I would want to have a nice color to it. But I don't know, like it might be worth it to just clean it up and then take it in, maybe take it to somewhere that'll have a hydrostatic test done on it. I'm not sure. Or give it back to them and they can do a hydrostatic test, maybe swap it out. I'm not sure what the legality is of that, but I mean, if the company doesn't exist anymore, I can't take it back to them. And I don't know if maybe it was leased and it was accurate or what. It's hard to tell. But if I want to buy a new tank, that's $400. I don't know. I'll see what happens. I mean, worst thing I could do is just take it there and be like, hey, could I swap this out? And if they say no, and if they say like, oh, that's stolen, I'll be like, well, it's my uncle's, or whatever, I'll give it back to him, you know? Whatever. But I still need a hydrogen tank. I have decided to try kerosene, but that company only does leases, and I can't find anywhere else to buy a hydrogen tank. So, in order to get a hydrogen tank, that would be $400 from them, and that would be the same cubic feet as the oxygen tank, and so then I would need 2 of those, so it'd be like $700, and more like $800, and so I think switching to kerosene fuel is a good idea, but man, I don't know. I might also, like a tangent of this, I might also see about trying to use my torch, because I have an old oxyacetylene torch from like the 1970s or 80s. I just need to open it up, clean it up, make sure all the gaskets and like whatever flexible bits inside there are replaced, and it probably should work fine. And I'm thinking, since I don't have an acetylene tank, I can probably use a propane tank. And so I'll have this little oxygen tank working with the propane tank on my torch. So, either way, the tanks that I have are pretty much dead, but I do have this little tank, and that's nice. I'm glad I picked that up, because otherwise it would cost a lot of money. So, already my hoarding habits have gifted me with a full tank of oxygen whenever I wanted it. And I might be able to just, like, I might even check, like maybe some of the other labels underneath that label are from a different company. Like maybe it just changes hands, I don't know. But I might ask my uncle, like, hey, where did you get this? Or whatever. But it was in his old barn. I don't think he even knows where it came from. They might not even accept the cylinder even if it wasn't leased, because the cylinders are like from 1960s or 70s. Oh well. So yeah, that's a little bit of craziness about gas cylinders. They do have little 80 cubic feet 80 cubic foot ones that are nice little cute size. Oh, 80 cubic feet. That would be 1.6 liters. And it'd be a nice little size to where I could still move it down to wherever I'm doing the tests. So maybe I shouldn't go to an entire like 250 cubic feet one, like the entire big one. Maybe I should go for a more intermediate size between the tiny one and between the big one. And thankfully, in Litchfield, right across the street from the Ilmo gas, is Rural King, which Rural King thankfully does still sell oxygen tanks. And I think they also sell carbon dioxide tanks. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I might see about putting some money towards that. If I make a bunch of money by selling those vintage signs that I have from that barn, the old beer signs, then I can put that towards buying some nice cylinders. Or another idea is I might start advertising my Patreon more on my main channel and get more subscribers to my Patreon, because as it is now, I only get like $140 a month from that, whereas other people get a lot of money from their Patreon. So it's like, oh, okay, well, because like Aiden Paladin just gets like $1,200 a month, and I get like $140 a month. The Post-Apocalyptic Adventure makes at least over $1,000 a month too, and it's like, oh well. I mean, I just feel bad for advertising my Patreon, but maybe it will be a good idea. I'll think it over, and if I do it, I'll post a video on my main channel. That is, once again, a rant about tank problems, tank troubles, cylinder sassafras, I don't know, and I can't think of a cylinder schism, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.